OB42 is coming next week and is already on the public test server for you to play if you so wish, and we've been playing it with my Discord fans and all my subscribers when I was live streaming, so we've got a good feel of what's going on with the patch. But as I've said, I've already covered Thorvald, the new champion, and now today I'm going to cover the OB42 patch in general, like all of the changes. The biggest things for me are the nerfs and buffs. So first off, let's talk about the items and champions in general and how they've done a bit of tweaks. So the first thing is they've stopped it so that you can basically charge the heal in the spawn room. So before you could get a bonking or anybody that could do AoE damage to themselves, and if you healed them, you could basically charge up your ultimate by healing them, because support champions can now heal and charge their ultimate. It's just a nice quality of life improvement. They've also got rid of aggression completely. Hallelujah, finally they've got rid of aggression. It just sucked and didn't have a place in the game. It was basically a trap for new players to pick up and then be called noobs by people that wanted to feel better than the other players, rather than just say, don't buy aggression again. Although there are some rather aggressive victors that bought aggression and would swear by it, but hey. Also, they've reduced life rip from 400 to 300, so definitely a great pickup on things like Androxus and other champions that have a big hit and can get a lot of life rip off of that. And also, Rejuvenate's been reduced from 300 to 200, so in some cases you can get 2 sets of 200 items, like a defense item, like Resilience if you're against a lot of stunners like Maldamba and Bomb King, and maybe even Thorvald, now he's coming out in OB42. So there are a lot more options with the items, and it's only just with these tweaks, these little changes in the amount they cost. Anyway, onto the actual champion changes. So Bomb King has got a new damage percentile. Basically, the minimum damage now is going from 15% of the max damage to the 30% of the max damage. And basically this is doubling the minimum damage that Bomb King does. So if you look at Bomb King's explosion, it's like a sphere, and at the very edge of that sphere is the lowest damage, and you get higher damage till the center where I think it's 900. So basically you'll be doing a lot more damage at the edge, and in general I think this is just good for Bomb King. It doesn't, I know that the developers said they wanted to improve it for lower skill players and players didn't have so great aim, but even for great players that have great aim, you still miss sometimes, and sometimes you have to fire around a corner or something like that, and being able to put out consistent damage is really important. So this sticky bomb damage increase is going to really benefit everybody, and Bomb King definitely was a bit out of the meta in the last patch, and this is going to just nudge him slightly towards being in the meta now. They've also increased the actual radius of the explosion, the damage area, from 9 to 10 units, so even greater AoE damage in general. And I think this is a great nudge for Bomb King, and I've actually said a few times in my previous videos that this is something they could have done. Cassie, they've just updated Scout to say that it does CC immunity, so things like stun and knockback and things like that. But I've said that in my previous videos as well as in my tips about Cassie, saying that a lot of people didn't know she had the CC immunity when she ultimates, but it is something that is there. Not that it really affects how you use her ultimate, but it's just a nice little touch. One nerf in the patch is Maldamba, whose Spitting Cobra can only target somebody every 3 seconds. So this means you can't basically stun lock somebody. And in general, the better Maldambas at the moment were ones that weren't stunning so much and were basically healing and getting those 100k plus healing scores at the end of games. So I don't think this is necessarily a big nerf, but it is annoying for players to be stun locked because it's just not a fun mechanic in games usually. Like Bomb King has had an increase of their minimum damage, so basically the lowest damage they can do at the edge of their AoE, and theirs is actually going from 15 to 35%, so it's getting even more than double the increase of what it was before, and this is definitely noticeable in game. And honestly, Pip might nudge back into the meta. Like he has actually been in the meta as this sort of off support that would use their ultimate all the time, but now this extra damage really helps in sort of doing AoE splash damage and disrupting point holds and things like that, because you're putting out so much damage, and he definitely is going to be one of those champions I think we're going to see a lot in OB42, and I've had a lot of fun with in the patch games that I've been playing with subscribers, and also I've seen played against me and done to devastating effect. Tyra's had a bit of just a balance, so basically their minimum accuracy is going from 85 to 89%. So in general, your weapon is going to be generally more accurate. There's less bloom on it, so it doesn't go so wild out, like basically a ring of bloom, so it'll be firing in like an area, that'll be slightly less. But you'll lose more accuracy per shot and get quicker to that ring, basically that ring of full bloom, rather than you would have done before. Like the amounts they're not very big, but you'll probably notice it, and what it does is mean that the burst fire, that the tactics that you use now with Tyra are going to be even more important now with this patch. I don't think it'll change that much, and probably it'll just make her better for players that are already bursting, and we probably won't see much difference there. And she has already got that extra little HP buff, but whether she'll see herself in the meta in OB42, I don't really think so, but we'll just have to see on that one, because obviously she's got Torvald now to start taking down the HP. Actually, I wonder whether Tyra's fire does damage percentage of his shield as well. I'm guessing not, but maybe it does. That could be quite a big thing, because he's got like 9,000 effective health. I ought to check that out on PTS actually. Viktor's also got a buff to their ultimate, which I would say was one of the weaker ultimates before, not because of the damage, but just because you're stuck there, and also the fire between them was quite slow. So now it only takes a barrage strike to hit from 1 to 0.5 seconds, and the better barracks that would ultimate would actually spam the ability now to get it to go as quickly as possible, but this should make it even quicker than it was before and actually be one of the more useful ultimates in the game. So I'm glad we'll see that coming. There are loads of little fixes and things and little nudges, but I won't mention those. That they don't seem to be that noteworthy. Anyway, let's get on to the customization stuff that they've put in. Okay, so another thing that they've put in that I haven't tried out myself is the Ice Mines redo, and they're putting that in the test queue for the test queue maps that they have at the moment, because we've got 3 in OB41, but we'll have the Ice Mines redo as well. It doesn't really say what it'll be, and I haven't tried it out myself, but it's something that you should probably check out in the public test server or next week when OB42 actually comes out. And then let's come on to the customizations. The first big pack of items that they're putting out is the Code Green Viktor collection. These are basically Army Man Viktor skins. Again, these are in chests, so they have the RNG mechanic that we all love. But oh well, they are the better skins in the game, and this is one of the ones that actually is a full redo of Viktor and even though it is in chests, at least now we have lots of different sets and variation in that. And actually when you buy the whole set, it's like 1,000 for everything, 1,000 crystals, and it's not ridiculously priced for the full set, but hey, you might even get lucky and have a lower price. But anyway, there's basically 4 sets of heads, 4 sets of bodies, 4 sets of weapons, 2 sprays and MVP poses, and then an emote where he basically plays with little action figures, which is pretty funny and generally pretty good. And also a Code Green voice pack, which is always nice. Pip has got a changed gun for Chinese New Year, and also has a sort of like more Asian rooster. And by Asian, I mean like it's got also like ancient Chinese dynastic sort of makeup on the chicken. I don't know how else to explain it, but it looks pretty good, and I actually like the fact that there's customization for the ultimates, and hopefully we see some more of that in the future. Maybe like an Ancient Rage skin for Makoa, that would be pretty cool. And things like that would be pretty good in the game. Finally, there's a new game mode, and this is Pve Mode. Basically, they're putting in 1 per week, although hopefully, I don't really want it to be like a weekly thing. I wish they were just like a Pve mode, and you had all these maps and random game modes that you could go through. But at the moment, it's just 1 game type, and this one is Tank It to the Limit. And basically it's just a set of tankers with some of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle named Makoas, and also I think Grover and I think 2 barracks. It is insanely hard. We tried to play it with some of my subscribers, and we didn't do very well. But this game mode is going to be fun as a challenge, and just trying to overcome it and overcome these bots that are basically cheating at the game is definitely worthy of your time, and also you get golden XP for it, so it is actually worthwhile taking it on. Anyway, that was pretty much OB42 in a nutshell, or as quick as I possibly could put it out. And if you want to check it out, then you can download the PTS yourself. I've done a video in my tips section about how to download the PTS, and also it's just on the forums. If you just Google how to download the PTS, I'm sure it'll come up. And you can always join my Discord, and we might be playing more games before it goes live. But I'm going to guess it's going to go live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because it's pretty much there. There's not too many bugs at the moment. I mean, some bits need a bit of working out, but in general, I think it's looking pretty good, and honestly, I like the changes that have gone forward. Most of them are buffs to champions that weren't in the meta, rather than nerfs over the board. There was like some tweaks, like Tara's got like a buff nerf sort of thing. It's not really a buff, but it's not really a nerf, it's just there. But in general, everything's been getting buffs, and Torvald is a different champion that's going to be another jigsaw piece in the meta that just basically sort of upsets things, not in a bad way either. Like, he just adds something that's not in the game yet. He's not necessarily a great tank in the normal sense, just sitting on a point, having a shield out, but he can do a lot of shielding to allies and disrupting and taking shields and things like that. He's almost like a support, really. Anyway, what does everyone else think about OB42 coming out, and are you looking forward to it? Be sure to let me know in the comments section below. Like or dislike this video as you see fit, and subscribe for more of my content. Until next time, everybody, Joshino.